Most men in their 30s are actually drowning, bro. And nobody's talking about this. Nobody's checking up on them. Some of them had to move back home with family that they don't get along with. They have to turn around and get a retail job at like some supermarket or a clothing store just to make ends meet. Their only options for a meal these days is ramen noodles or some canned food. They can't even enjoy life. They can't reconnect with old friends from high school. They can't go out. They can't explore. They can't enjoy nature. Bro, if you're working retail, you're making like what, 16 an hour, bro? You're constantly chasing after a check that doesn't even last you that long. You gotta work with people who are younger than you. You gotta take orders from them. There are so many people out there who are in their 30s and they're drowning with all of this. They're seeing all their friends who went ahead and upgraded, moved to another country, drive a nice car, got a nice house, got married, and yet here you are, you're working this job at a supermarket in your mid-30s, you're still living at home. You probably don't even get along with your family members. So you got to deal with that every day. You're constantly on edge because you never know when a conflict's going to come around. You're stuck, dude. Nobody talks about how suffocating that is, all right? And I can relate to this because I went through it. Okay, when I moved back here in 2021, I had no plan. I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. I had just came back from Guatemala. And honestly, I was having the time of my life, to be honest. All right, and I had to come back home and face reality. Then I had to turn around and get a retail job 3 years in. At first, I thought I was going to keep the job for a few years, maybe become manager. But after working that job for a whole year, I was like, dude, I can't do this shit for the rest of my life, bro. I can't do this job and work with these people who are miserable all the time. It was destroying my spirit, dude. Between working that job and living at home with family that I didn't get along with, it was destroying my spirit. It was destroying my hope, but I didn't let it. There is a way out of all this. In my last video, I talked about how I quit my job, but I have a plan. I messed around and bought a one-way ticket to Guatemala because this plan that I have devised is going to work. I have experience living out there. And when I think about it every single day for the last 4 years, I think about how peaceful my life was, bro. I didn't have to deal with all this chaos between the inflation out here in the States, family members constantly wanting to fight with me, a job that didn't allow me freedom to do the things that I want to do and allow me to afford a decent meal. Ramen noodles and fucking canned food for dinner. I always believed that I can do something with my life, man. And I think that's where it starts. Life can beat you down, man. It really could. It can beat you down. Mentally, spiritually, shit, even physically, bro. For my case, I had to challenge myself because I knew that if I didn't, I was going to do this for another 4 years. Okay, I'm 34, going on 35 in August. I didn't want to let another 4 years slip on by. All these people out here are miserable and they're taking it out on others because they can't afford to do the shit that they want to do. Inflation. Don't even get me started with the pick of the women out here. None of them are interested in relationships, let alone dating. But when I was in Guatemala, at least for the most part, the women out there were open to something serious. All right. And I can get into that in a whole different video. Okay. But at least for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, countries like Guatemala, the women out there were raised to be traditional. They want to be in serious relationships. They're going to allow a man to lead in a relationship. So when you're surrounded by all that, you know, you're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to pump your chest. I don't know. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to be like, okay, one day I can get into a relationship. But out here, dude, in America, here's the thing. Us men out here in the States, we don't have leverage. The women do. They have all the options at their fingertips. Us men, we don't have that. This is not going to turn into a get your passport advertisement. But if you start traveling to other countries, bro, you're going to see how much different things really are. Especially in countries where there's still a patriarchy and there's still, you know, women who want to be in relationships. You're going to see how different shit is, dude. Because at least in those countries, you have a chance. Especially if you're somebody who wants to have a family one day. Out here, your chances are not even slim. They're virtually impossible. And that's why a lot of men feel like they're drowning, because the money they make from their jobs don't pay enough. And A lot of men want to build a legacy. They want to have a family. And they can't even do that because none of the women out here are available. So you feel worthless. So what's the solution? Dude, I'm going to keep on advocating it. You have to figure out what it is that you are passionate about. What are those core values? What are you good at, man? You have to really think about this because, dude, if you can figure it out, you are on the internet. Everybody's on the internet. You can start an online business with those things that you're passionate about. You could. You can turn that into an online business and then, dude, you can live in another country, especially when that business is paying you in dollars. You can mess around and go to Thailand or the Philippines or Germany or Brazil, Mexico. You can live life. I know plenty of people that are doing this, dude. And you know what? Since we're talking about online businesses, let me show you some of the things I've seen in the community that I'm in. This is actually from one of the members. I don't know if you can read that. Okay? I'll put the screenshot on the side of the video. So as you saw right there, $1,900 she made in a single day. Okay, so this is the type of online business that I'm talking about. When you have a business that's paying you in dollars, do you have any idea what $1,900 can do for you in a country like Thailand or the Philippines or Mexico or even Guatemala, dude? Yet you're out here locked at a retail job, living at home, eating ramen noodles for dinner. Okay, I'm not trying to sit here and make you feel bad about it, but this is the situation. You have zero leverage at your current situation right now. All right. But if you understand what your core values are, if you can understand what are those things that you're passionate about, if you can figure out a way how to outline this into an online business, then bro, you will be above the curve from everybody else out here who gave up on themselves, who said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do this job for like 5-10 years. There are so many people who are working jobs 5-10 years, 20 years, never visited, never even understood what their true potential was. Their entire identity was their job. They never actually tapped into those true potentials that they had. And a lot of them passed on, never knowing what that potential was. Is it going to be hard? Yeah. But you can't be afraid of changes, man. You can't be afraid of taking risks. That's why I'm doing it. I didn't want to sit in this house or work this job for another 4 years, dude. That's why I bought my ticket, because I know what I can achieve. I know what I'm capable of. You have to decide. Are you going to keep on doing this shit for another 4 years, bro? Are you going to keep on doing this shit for another 10 years? Eating the same food, driving the same car, working the same job, being lonely, no relationships, no prospects. You have no dating options. Or are you going to get up and do something about it, man? Are you going to do something about it? That's the rest of this video. I could show you much more from the community that I'm in, but I don't want to make this video too long. Maybe in another video I'll do it, because there's so many. Like, the video will be like a whole day if I showed you some of the stuff that's in this community, bro. All right? But if you want to know exactly the steps I'm taking, go ahead and check out in the description. I left my guide in the description. Check it out, okay? Because the steps that I'm taking is exactly what I outlined in the guide. I'm doing this because I want people to actually have a plan, man. Because like I said, in 2021, I didn't have shit. I didn't have a plan. So this is coming from a place of pain. This is coming from a place where if I can do it, you most likely can do it. If you understand what those core values are. So that way you don't have to drown anymore, man. You don't have to feel stuck. You don't have to work these jobs for the rest of your life, man. You don't have to be living at home, all right? Use it as a stepping stone, but you don't gotta be doing this for 10 years, man. That's really why I created this guide, man. I really wanna help people. So if you found this video helpful, feel free to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below, bro. All right? And above all, I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care now.